know you for a threat. Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say this a lot of goofies for the check. I mean, I hope them sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar, choose violence. Hey, let's get it up. It's time for him to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up, but they not be like getting up 40 water. Tell him, yeah, get up with me. Fuck sneak this, first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap.
Ruling the way that I move, not breathe your air. You only can rescue me. This is my breath. If you were mine, if you were mine, I wouldn't want to go to heaven.
7 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Hey guys, please stop by our site and purchase some of our merchandise today. This is not only a way to spread the word about us, but it is a great way to support the channel. Justmecmb.cc. Hey guys, after this great commentary, be sure you run over to our website, www.justmecmb.cc, for this great t-shirt and more. Support the channel by purchasing a t-shirt. Come on guys, follow information. Let's go. Hey Mish MObb, and welcome to the Situation Room. Be sure to hit the like button as you come in. Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another live presentation. I hope that everyone has had an amazing day today. We're a little early from where we're supposed to be. And so something else came up that we really needed to talk about. Um, I've seen some of it by watching another video, but I wanted to watch this with the Mish MObb, and I wanted us to discuss this today. The link is available if anybody wants to come up and discuss this. And before we even move forward, I'm just going to say this. Um, for those of you who are new or may see this as someone who maybe have not had the opportunity to experience me as a commentator, or you're new to me as a commentator, um, I speak from truth. It may not be a popular truth, but one thing I've realized about us doing commentary, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions. What some may think is abuse, some think is questionable behavior, and what some may think as treating a person like crap, others may consider a difficult relationship. So I say that to say that all opinions are welcomed here, but my opinion will be um, it's not always going to be the popular one just because of that reason. So anyway, um, welcome in, Mish MObb. Y'all, my head is really all over the place on this, and but we gonna make it do what it do. Now, my original live that I had planned, and the subject for that, we will probably talk about that later tonight, but I'm probably going to go live at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern. So I'm pretty positive I've already scheduled that video. Anyway, let's see who is in the chat. Hey, Miss Karen, you were the first one here today. Hey, love, thank you so very much for taking the time to come in and be a part of this live. You are just amazing as far as supporting us, and I really appreciate it. You and Makeup as well, Shonda. Thank you guys so very much for being here on this Saturday, day before Easter. I'm so out of touch with the world and what's going on that until my aunt said something to me earlier today, I didn't really realize that tomorrow's Easter. Now, when I think back about it, I think I've heard somebody say something about Palm Sundays, something about whatever. Oh, Good Friday. I remember people saying they're going to be off, but I still didn't grasp the fact that they're saying it's Easter. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm so out of touch. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I think that's all I see that's in here. I see a few people in the bushes. Welcome, bush watchers. For those of you who may be new here, I'm just McMB. We talk about topics, situations, um, and the likes to do with life, to do with mothers and children primarily. Now, sometimes I do have things that we talk about that are non-related, but for the most part, that's what you're going to find on this channel. So I just wanted to make sure you are aware. We don't have a lot of people in here today, so guys that are here, I hope that you will definitely share this live on maybe your social media and YouTube channel so that others can see it and come over and maybe want to be a part of the Mish MObb. You know what I'm saying? Before we move any further, let's go ahead and play our station break.
I think I know. I touch that fine for you. I do that three, but
Can y'all hear? I don't hear anything.
I think I know. I touch that fine for you. I do that three, but I think I know. I touch that fine for you. I do that three.
Y'all, today our Mish MObb member is Passion Elisa. She has been a valued member of the Mish MObb for quite some time. So, Passion Elisa, thank you for your support of the channel. I really do appreciate you, love. So let's get into hey Cherie. Let's get into our conversation for today. Before we move any further, can y'all tell me if y'all can see or hear? Shonda, you say I'm cooking. My baby girl made it into the kitchen. I was able to show her how to make homemade ham glaze. All righty then. Big kudos to your daughter. I know that she is battling some health issues, and y'all just be sure to keep Shonda in your prayers. Um, that's amazing, because our topic today is going to be heavy. Hey Karen, and so we have to learn in life to celebrate the little things, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So today, guys, we are talking about a video that strong mommy Chrissy put up. Now, I shared a community post of hers the other day, um, and her mom was on life support, and she was saying that she hoped that she came out. Also, guys, I am going to give you guys a trigger warning. And hey, Ebony Logs, I'm doing amazing today, love. I hope you're doing amazing as well. But yeah, so we're going to jump into this video. And my mother is still here, but her husband did pass away in September. So this is I didn't have a close. I knew him. I've known him for years, but by the time she got with him, I was not local. I was fond of him, cared, about him, loved him. That was her husband, and but the relationship is not the same. Like I don't identify as him being somebody who helped to raise me and things like that, although she was with him for, I know, over 20 years. But I say all of that just to say that I have not walked this walk that this young lady have. And so, no matter what people think about her and how she has handled things and all of that, I still offer her my deepest condolences and just hope that her and her brothers get through this the best that they can. Her entire family, as a matter of fact, because they're sure there's way more than just that. I would try to keep my emotions in check. I have been on that walk. You have, and your insight here, Cherie, may be very helpful if that's something that you can give. Again, guys, let me go ahead and make that information available today. We have the link available. So if you guys do choose to jump on the live, you are welcome to. You're welcome to come up. And so that is available today. So again, I'm letting you guys know that the link is available upon request. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump over into the commentary, into the video, um, and get started. We're going to watch as much of it as possible because it's a 48-minute video. So I'm not sure how far we'll make it, but we're going to do the best that we can. Guys, those of you who are new to the channel or new to the mommy community, this is Strong Mommy Chrissy. She is talking about uh, you said you're sorry for Strong Mama Chrissy. Unfortunately, I've walked that walk with both my parents. I'm still trying to heal. And I don't think there's ever a situation that you heal. I think what you learn when it comes to grief stricken tragedies is just to get to the part of the grieving process that's acceptance, because your life will never be the same. So, how can you even identify yourself as even healing if, because you'll never get that person back. So, is there a process of healing, or maybe I'm immature in the my thought process? Or maybe I'm just unintelligent to this particular struggle because, like I said, I've lost people that I love, but I lost my grandfather years ago. Um, I've gotten to an acceptance place and a place that every single day of my life that it is not all I think about. You know what I mean? But gosh, you never get that back. So let's just start there. We're going to jump into the reaction. I had to stop right there because, baby, you started this off amazing by saying that. Because, I don't watch everything about Strong Mommy Chrissy. I think of the three main moms that most reactors talk about. For me, she's the less problematic. That doesn't mean she's not problematic, but she's the less. I think she takes pretty decent care of her kids. Does that mean that they ain't never had raggedy shoes, raggedy beds, and stuff like that? No. I just think that she's the less problematic. But a lot of times when people are vocal about this situation, from what I've seen, um, they are coming from a place of I'm gonna say judgment toward Chrissy and who she is, but not the fact that this is a mother and daughter relationship, which to a lot of people that could be very different. Hey, Cancer, no, you didn't miss much. We just jumping in. I think we're on the first minute of the video. Thanks, love. I'm so happy to see you here today. I hope you're feeling good. Oh wow, I bet, Shonda. Mm. And that's I just mm. Hey, Nisha. Now y'all know I'm honest. So regardless of how I feel about what she's currently going through, I was thinking about all of this before we came on here. And for me, it's like I wasn't sure because when you are a content creator that vlogs your life, um, and you've been doing it for a long time, everything is content. And I know that's a very blanket statement because we all discussed the com- complexity of that statement. Because truthfully, everything is not content. Some things aren't for the internet. But kind of in today's time, it kind of a lot of things are for the internet, not because they should be, but because it has become uh, normal that people talk about these said subjects. The best, from my experience, the best views that Chrissy has ever got is when she and DeMarcus broke up. She made a lot of freaking money. I'm just, she was devastated. She sat in the car damn near every day and cried. Let's just be real. And it was real, but it was still used as content. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, baby, because like she'll go live and she'll do a video and we might not see her again for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm willing to bet you every 3 to 4 days, she's gonna be live. Like this is gonna be a time, although it is a time of grieving, she's also gonna monetize it. That's just my opinion.
I don't even know what to say. I just need to say something.
And I may have an unpopular opinion, but I really feel sorry for this girl at this moment. Like looking at her face, like I sympathize so much with her right now.
I just need to say something. I'm not even thinking straight right now. Um,
Do you really want to spend the rest of your life watching ads? Guys, just download Pi. It's a free Google Chrome extension and it basically
my mom.
I don't know if I could have did this. Like in this moment, she is within maybe 5, 6 hours, let's just guess, of her mama passing away. She literally passed away today. the day before Easter, 2025. I don't know where she is, but she died around 7 a.m. On this day.
She's been in the hospital since Monday. I'm gonna tell y'all why I knew yesterday. I knew yesterday that she probably was gonna pass. And
Now she had a relationship with her mother. I really can't judge how. I know a lot of people feel that she didn't treat her mother the best. Um, and all of the things. However, she had a relationship with her mother. Her mother has been an avid supporter of Chrissy since she had her first child. She's moved around with Chrissy to be close to her and her grandkids, just like the same things that I do. Um, so with her having a relationship with her mother in this moment, what I don't understand is if you had an idea yesterday that she may get to the point that she's at now, why didn't you stay at the hospital? Because she went there yesterday. She spent time with her mother. They told her that things looked to where it would be okay for her to sleep in her own bed. I'm assuming the nurse knew that she was an hour and a half away from the hospital. Um, I'm assuming she knew that, and she still told her that it was okay to leave. So she told her that with the understanding that she didn't think things would go to where they went. But I still don't understand, like, if Chrissy knew or felt, why didn't she just get a room? If you didn't want to sleep in the hospital room, you could have at least slept close. That's what I don't understand. Hey, San.
it just doesn't matter. It don't matter. You never ready to get that phone call.
Right.
And my
Exactly.
mom,
That's true.
she had kidney disease. Um, and she's been on dialysis for like 8 years. That's a long time to be on dialysis. And she's 69. All of those things just play a factor in everything. I mean, it's one of those things that you just like, it's not gonna be forever, but you just, you know. So she's been sick. She had pneumonia, but I don't know. There's a lot of things running through my mind. But so I'll have to at a later time maybe put everything together because
I agree, Cancer.
I'm literally ready to crash out right now. But right now, here's how I'm feeling immediately. My mom's been in the hospital since Monday.
Exactly, Shonda. I don't know that
My
I would be
brothers,
able
they live
to,
in the
like,
city. I live in the
even if you know what's coming, I don't think I would be able to do this. Now, could I set up a camera to record because that is what I do to earn income? Maybe I would be able to. But just like she's sitting here confused and dazed and trying to put it together, I, the video probably would be me just trying to process.
mountains, so I'm about an hour and a half away. Um, and
Cancer, I feel like that's the piece of the pie that uh she's not thinking about. But people often call her narcissist, so maybe that's not something she can think about.
and so you know, I feel like I don't know. I have a lot of shit on my mind right now. But um,
Well, I'm gonna say this, Miss Cheeks. I feel like for I don't know who has all talked about this. I'm sure quite a few people do. You know, I spend my days most of the time trying to make time for stuff instead of having a lot of time for stuff. So when it comes to looking to see who's all out there, unless you are somebody that I have a connection with that I taking your content all the time, for the most part, I'm not going to be able to register anything. Now, I say that to say this. Um, I mean, that's what content channels do for the most part. I guess that's what we do for the most part. We talk about things that are not the status quo. Let me say it like that and leave it at that. Because a lot of people have different reasons why they do commentary. And that's why I make the declaration at the beginning of this video. My reaction is probably not going to be typical of a lot of other people. I'm not finna dog Chrissy. She just lost her freaking mom. Like, I don't care where you are in the walk with the relationship between you and someone that you love. This here, until you are in, like they say, until you're in the lost parent club, you're not. So once you get there, how you deal with that and relate is going to be very different from one person to the next.
um, thank y'all for y'all condolences. But my brothers live in the city, so they were closer. You know, during this whole
I
process,
agree, Ebony
she was in the
Law.
hospital for a couple of days, and I didn't know she was in the hospital. Strike number one.
That is true, Miss
Strike
Sheik.
number one. Um,
A person can seem a little selfish and then they're a narcissist, a person that has the inability to see other people's point of view. Now, that's why I put it the way that I did. People say she's a narcissist. Is she? I don't know. And honestly, I don't frequent her content enough to really probably answer that question. A lot of people say she mistreated her mother. Did she? I don't know. Why? Because I did not frequent her content. Man, when I used to watch her a lot, it was a long time ago. Now, whenever some shit go on, I pop over here, but that's about it.
because nobody called me, and I had called her a couple of times. But you know,
I am gonna say that this about what she just said. Nobody called her. What I don't understand, if she had the type of relationship with her mother that they talked regularly, I don't think anybody would have to call me. But here's the thing. Everybody is not a "Imma talk to my mama every day" type of thing, and they can love her funky draws. It's just the relationship. And the word relationship, the act of being in and the actual physicality of having a relationship is the most difficult thing that we do as people.
you know, sometimes my mom's schedule and we miss each other, but we'll catch back up. You know, so it's not usually a big deal. But if she's in the hospital, you know, they know they used to have my number to call me first, but since I moved further away, we changed it because my brothers live closer, which makes more sense because I have the kids. I'm an hour and a half away. If there's an emergency, you know, they need to be contacted first because they live within close driving distance. So, but yeah, nobody called me. Strike number one. Strike number one. I'm about to fucking strike number one. Strike number one. And I love my brothers. But y'all tell me if I'm fucked up. If I'm fucked up, okay, maybe I'm just emotional because my mother just passed away this morning. That's probably part of it, you know. I'm very volatile right now. But I think logically. So nobody called me. I didn't know. Wednesday, I get a phone call from my brother. He's like, listen, Mom's in the hospital. She's been in the hospital since Monday. Again, bitch, start to learn. I don't appreciate that shit. Okay, and she was very alert and just being like, they were trying to get a CPAP mask on her because she was having problems breathing. And my mom is claustrophobic. My mom is very claustrophobic. She don't like shit on her face, bruh. And she was like, nah, you not finna put that mask on me. Like, I don't want that. And so my brothers, they trying to convince her, the nurses and doctors, they could not convince her. And they were like, listen, if you don't put this mask on, you finna die today. And so she was like, no, like, get me out of here.
Now, when she was already at that point, once I found out, however it happened, once I found out, we in survival mode. Number one, get the kids together. Because how can you keep that from them? This woman has been a part of the raising of those children. They know her intimately. So, especially the older, from the twins on up, let's have a conversation. Look, this is what's going to go on. Now, I know she said she's married. A lot of people talk about her being married. That wouldn't even be a part of it because when you look at and listen to what she's saying here in this video, um, the husband is not an avid everyday part of her life. She talks about him in passing. Oh, yeah, my husband and I went here, blah, blah, blah. He's not an active role anywhere. So to me, the husband ain't even a part of this conversation because she didn't make him a part of the relationship, the life, the everyday. We don't see him, even though she don't show him, and I do understand why. Um, he's still not a part of the everyday. So with that being the case, I wouldn't I wouldn't think anything of it either as far as him. I would have sat my damn kids down. This is what's going on. Look, I might not be here, but this is the time I need everybody to be on their best behavior. You are going to be my point of contact with the household. I will make sure there's foods in there that everybody can eat. If not, I will do an order for delivery of food once I get my ass to the hospital because that's first goal. And then I will be out. Everybody in this bitch got phones. Everybody phone need to stay uh charged at least at 50%. I don't want nobody in my damn house. I don't know if they have um cameras or not, but I would be watching the house on the cameras and shit, but I would be at the hospital.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in here. And so finally, my brother calls me. He's like, listen, you got to talk to mom. Tell her to
You
put
know
this
you
mask
good,
on.
Cancer. No problem at all,
So I
honey.
said, okay. You know, because I know she'll listen to me. Sometimes she'll listen to them. Sometimes she's like,
Yeah, and
it
that's
takes
true
me to
for a
come
lot of
in
these
and
girls.
save the day. So
Hey,
I didn't
Lakeisha.
even address the fact that why the fuck is my mom in the hospital for 2 days? And you motherfuckers didn't call me, bruh. You know? But
So I'm assuming that she has the type of relationship that they don't talk every single day. So for her, they're in whatever cycle of that um she hadn't talked to her mom, so she didn't know what was going on.
I love my brothers. I'm not argumentative. I don't, cause a lot of, whatever. But I will fuck a motherfucker up and cuss a motherfucker out if I feel
I
disrespected.
don't
That's the
see tea
only
time.
time I get out of line.
What tea time say?
But in the moment, that wasn't priority. The priority was my mother. So, I'm on the phone. My other brother is at the hospital. One of them, the one who's calling me, he's working. We're all just kind of coordinate. By the time they get me on the phone, my other brother had finally just put the mask on, like, you gotta have this, calm down, you gotta have this. So they kind of got it figured out. Okay, fast forward. My mom went into cardiac arrest yesterday morning.
And that's the post that I shared when she
And
said that.
I had just called up there the day before I went up there, and she was stable. She was still alert, able to talk, uncomfortable.
Yeah, she's apparently
Left.
still up
She said I
there
called back that
where the
day and I talked to the
hospital
nurse.
is. She's up there where the hospital is, and she's saying if she can't get this off, she ain't even gonna be able to drive home. Like her mind is so scatterbrained that she needs to get this out. That's what she said. So when she left to go back to the hospital, I guess this morning, uh, once people talked to her. Um, she went there, she did whatever. Now, this is the part before she's leaving to go back home, and she sat down to do this video.
And I was like, listen, do you think I need to come back tonight? What is it looking like? Getting her medical update. And she's like, no, I think you can sleep in your own
Cancer,
bed. I
you
think,
said something about tea
she's going
time,
to be
but
fine until the
what
morning,
are you
whatever. So in
responding
the
to? Because I
morning,
don't
I
see
do
tea time
get the
here.
kids ready for school.
Hello, hello, hello.
Mind you,
Oh, that was her.
um, Junebug's birthday was Friday and Blaze's birthday. So Junebug's birthday was yesterday
I
and
agree,
Blaze's
join it.
birthday was Thursday. So, trying to vlog. I'm trying to get the kids together. I'm trying to wrap gifts. I'm trying to you know, I'm trying to get the kids straight. Meanwhile, I'm trying to support from afar because I know my brothers are there, to be there on a regular, consistent basis. They're tag teaming, being there, and I'm calling, we're just
And that's probably the truth. She knows how to navigate up there in Colorado. She knows how to get used to the social service systems. She took advantage of the situation with Rod and used it to move. I don't even think it was as bad as it was put out there. Um, Nobody's life is picture perfect. Let's just be real about that. And because of the past and because of her being on here 10 years with people reacting and having things to say and talking in so many voices, let's look. She's got 225,000 people that follow her. All of them people don't love her. And regardless to the fact where she is in this situation and what's going on, I mean, you take the dissecting that has already had, and hey, it ain't always gonna be nice, but I'm just gonna be real and fair on what I think. Mothering is not a perfect situation, it's not a perfect hood to be in, and a lot of moms make bad decisions for selfish reasons, and a lot of moms make bad decisions because they don't know no damn better, and then some because they don't give a fuck. We can't say which place she's at, but all of that shit don't matter at this moment. She just lost her fucking mama. Period.
kind of all making it work. So then yesterday morning, I speak to her nurse, who I really, really like her. She was very, very thorough. We had a really good conversation. I asked her the questions, and I'm all over the place. But the night before, my mom called me, and I said, Mom, she was still able, she didn't lose her mental. You know how some people, they get sick, they get delirious and stuff like that. My mom was on a lot of medications, but she was still very mentally there. Her body was tired. Her body was tired, but she was there. She called me the night before all of this happened yesterday, before she went in cardiac arrest. And I said, Mom, I've been calling up there, I'm checking on you. I love the team, because my mom was very particular about, don't let these motherfuckers kill me.
And I feel that. I feel that on so many levels because that's how I be feeling sometimes. I'm not terminally ill, but I have been chronically ill for a long time. So I understand the side that the mother was on is scary. Now she is in a situation that apparently had become chronic. But on the other side of that, this daughter, not only is it hard taking care of a mom and being a child to someone who is sick, she had 9 damn kids. And a lot of that was done alone. She's done had to fight with baby daddies, and all of this while not having a consistent income. That just really makes it hard. Now, when I do my commentary, a lot of times I try to look at all of that. I may not be as vocal about it as this conversation, but I try to look at all of that. And it's like, damn, like girl, the chips are stacked against you, and you gotta fight your way out of that shit. And we talk about these women because they don't even try to fight their way out. That's how they become a conversation for reactors for the most part. But yeah, I can only imagine both of them how they felt. And this mother was fighting to live. She was not uh okay with the fact that she may be terminal. She wasn't even sure if she was terminal, but she damn sure didn't want to go nowhere.
Don't you let these motherfuckers kill me. They know I've been here a lot, and they start not to give a fuck, whether I live or die. And I told her, I said, I know I'm on their ass, mom. I assure you, I'm on their ass. Ain't nobody doing nothing. My brothers are there. I'm like, they there and I'm here. We gonna make sure you taken care of. And then she was like, she said, I am uncomfortable. And she said, I am hungry. And she's like, they have not fed me anything since I've been here. And I know, like, that sounds fucked up, but I feel like when I did ask about it, they were just like, she was having too many breathing issues at the time for her to safely, like, really consume anything without her levels dropping to, like, death levels.
And I understand that too because I have dry mouth a lot because of medications. And so sometimes I'm eating and it feels like I can't breathe. I mean, it's the same passageway. The food goes down either the breathing tube or the eating tube, but it's the same passageway. And so they really weren't worried about the nutrition part at the moment. They just worried about getting her to a place of stability. And that brings me to another thought. So clearly she was in a bad situation because she did mention ICU. So yeah, that it, it's a lot.
So, she was just like, my stomach hurts
And see, I
really
didn't know that,
bad and I
Nicole.
really
Like I
need
said,
something, right?
I go over
And I
there
was
when
like, okay,
stuff be
then
going
she's like,
on.
I also have some questions. And I was like, okay, let me write.
And let me just be fair to both sides of this. A lot of people are looking at Chrissy because the last time we remember her talking about her mother, it was the electric bill. Now, I caught the electric bill part. I don't even think I did commentary on that. I didn't. But she was complaining that she can't handle things the way that they were. She needed relief from her brothers. It's so much behind that and so many pieces of information. I'm very analytical. So I got to know everything before I can, get to a hypothesis. So for me, I ain't touched that because it felt too involved to not have enough information. So I say all of that to just to say that that's what people are thinking. Oh, that wasn't right. I don't know if that's what she was saying directly because I didn't even make enough effort to even go over there and see the whole thing. I saw it through a reaction channel. But again, that's what people remember. So now they see her and they only want to think about that, not this.
Down your questions, mom. What questions do you have? And I will find out for you. And she's just like, I want to know what my prognosis is. She's like, I want to know if I'm gonna make it home. She said, I want to know, about different things with dialysis and different things. And I wrote them all down. I said, I'm gonna find out for you, and I'm gonna let you know, right? So she's like, okay, I'm tired of talking now. I said, okay, just get some rest, and I'll be over there tomorrow. So the morning comes, and I get, it's Blaze's birthday. This is Thursday. And
And yeah, Miss Cheeks, that's what I was saying. I would have just got with the bigger kids and because I would have them running my house. I wouldn't be trying to go back and forth an hour and a half each way. Um, For the most part, I would just make sure clothes and stuff is together, and I would be trying to be at the hospital, but doing whatever over there. Let's just say there is a husband there. We know that we're going to have an adult coming home every night, right? So I don't necessarily need to be there. Otherwise, if I can't depend on him at a time like this, I don't need him. If I do have to depend on my daughter, now let's be honest about the daughter. She's been the oldest daughter in a house that has all these kids for years. If you think she haven't been helping mom, you're thinking wrong. So I would need her to step in. Everything that you've learned is for times like this. This girl is 16 going on 17 or 17 going on 18. Some 16-year-olds are moms, although she's not, and she tries to keep her daughter somewhat in a child's position at the same time she should be responsible enough that she can be at home with these kids for a 24-hour period while I make sure mom is good. So that's where I would come from. And that's a tough decision to make. But As long as I know my kids are mature enough, that's the decision I would have made. Now, if they're not mature enough, I'm still their mom and I have to look out for them as well. So then that's when you do have to go back. Me personally, I don't think I could handle the back and forth. So I would try to put together I'm gonna call it the war zone. This is how we gonna do it. I'm a chief from over here, and I'm gonna tell y'all what to do.
You know, or was it Thursday or Friday? No, that was Thursday night. I can't remember, my days are mixed up. But anyway, long story short, the next morning, that's when I talked to her nurse. We had a long conversation. I asked a lot, all of the questions that my mom had. And the
Exactly,
nurse was
Ebony
honest with
Locked.
me and said, I'm concerned about her. She is really sick, but we're going to try to treat, the issues that we can treat and see what happens, essentially. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
An hour
that's true.
later, I get a phone call from her doctor, and her doctor says, "Hey, I know you just talked to the nurse. We want to put a breathing tube in because she's having problems breathing still, and the CPAP mask is just not doing enough. And she's vocalized that she's still short of breath and still having problems breathing." They were not able to get a hold of
My family doesn't want to bother me because I have my own issues and they do. Chrissy the same. 8 kids is a lot to deal with daily. Yeah, it is. Husband or not, that it is. And the question or the conversation is that she got a husband that's a doctor. Now that does mean that he should be making good money. Okay, got it. But let's look at it from the other side. She has a husband that's a doctor. Uh, that means he gone all the time. A lot of doctors end up being single, or with women there for the money because they don't have the ability to put the time in, depending on the type of doctor. So he probably wasn't helpful at all. The only thing that he should have done for her is brought additional money in, and when he is off, he can be off. The only type of doctor that really has a regular schedule somewhat is a ER doctor because they're not patient driven; they're situation driven. They go there, they handle situations, and then hand it off to a surgeon. So they probably won't even see that patient again. So with that being the case, that makes it a
my
difference.
brothers. At the time, I had just talked to one of them, and he said he was about to get dressed and then, run an errand and then go to the hospital. My other brother, I don't know where the fuck he was at. I couldn't get a hold of him at that time. The hospital couldn't either because I'm the last one they called. My brothers were the first ones. Remember that, because I'm further away. So if they called me, they couldn't get in touch with them. They had to call somebody. So they called me. She's telling me they want to put in a breathing tube. They want to vent her because her body's struggling. I say, okay. We in the middle of that. I hear them call a code in the background. She
Yeah,
said, "Oh,
yeah.
they're calling me for your mom. I gotta call you back." She hangs up the phone. 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from another doctor. He says,
I'm gonna tell y'all, if that was me, baby, in the car. If I'm not there in the car, but excuse me, this is why I would have tried to stay up there and stay close. It's just too much that can happen. Life can transition in a matter of moments. But truth be told, this whole 3-day period for mom probably was transitioning. She was afraid. That's why she was asking about her prognosis. Am I gonna make it home? Because she was feeling stuff that she hadn't felt before. Things was going on that didn't happen. And I have PTSD. I know how it feels to be in a moment of a panic attack that makes you feel like it's a heart attack. When I tell y'all it's some scary shit, the first one I had, I basically, I blacked out. I was at a friend's house, scared the shit out of both of us. And she was just like, "What can I do?" When I came to, she was like, "What can I do with her?" I'm like, "Just give me a second," because I was coming out of it. But that feeling for me was life changing. I've never told anybody this verbally. Some people may figure it out. It changed my life. I live my life in a way to avoid that. And I'm just being honest to y'all. And so I don't take shit for granted because of where I've been. I felt like I was not gonna be here no more, but it's nothing you can do in a moment. I live and I've changed my life. I'm absolutely inactive. I'm not out in the world a lot. It's just a lot. So I understand these type of moments, although I've never been in this type of moment. That is some life changing shit. These situations are life changing. So my heart goes out. I can't even, I keep focusing on the mom because I can only imagine because she's further in the walk than where I was. But I know how my little situation felt. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, this is yesterday. Unfortunately, your mother's heart has stopped. Unfortunately, her blood pressure dropped too low and her heart stopped. We are going to follow the what she wished in her chart, which was to revive her at all costs. We're attempting CPR. We'll do that for 5 to 10 minutes and we'll
Hey,
see
Queen
what happens.
Linda,
If we can get her
I
jump
miss you,
started,
girl.
we'll
Where you
put her on a
been?
vent. I said, okay, I'm on my way. I'm calling my brothers, and they ended up getting in touch with them too. I called my brother, and I'm like, I'm on my way. I get there, she's already vented,
Exactly, Missy.
um, but she's twinging.
And from her side, you don't understand what she's feeling. Everybody's looking at one side is the Chrissy side because that's who we talk about, but it's a lot. And not only was she going through this, she's scared of what she's going through. And I know someone who went through the reviving process. They said it is very painful. That's probably why her body was doing what it was doing. But she's being hungry and y'all have to realize she's going through that, but Chrissy's when she was there, she's also witnessing it. So her not being there actually may have been a defense mechanism because she don't know how to deal with that.
Like,
And I'm not taking up from her for her. I am really just stating it from both sides. And then at that point we'll say, okay, this is how we feel based on all this information. Like I said, I'm an analytical person. I try to look at the big picture because a lot of times one little thing can change the entire outlook of a situation.
you know, she heard us there. First of all, I don't wish that pain on nobody. I don't wish that pain on no fucking body. I wish nobody that pain. I'm seeing their parent in the hospital like that. That is not my mom. I can't tell her my brother. I was like, she wouldn't like this position they got her in because she was on her back. And
And that's how you be feeling. My daughter's grandmother just passed. And, going through that whole situation, I haven't even been able to deal with it just because of the moments. My mind is still going through the moments. It can't even accept the fact that I can't pick up the phone and call her and that she's not here because it's like, oh my God, look how they got her. Oh my God, look who's over there. Oh, she wouldn't like that. And you actually go there. You actually go there. And then as her daughter, seeing that she has been ill and been through something before, that's why um that's why she is feeling this way and dealing with it this way because um excuse me, I just lost my train of thought, but you know it's just a lot to deal with. All of that is a lot to deal with.
my mom never liked to be on her back. She liked to be like on the side. And I said she wouldn't like this
That's what I was about to say. She knows these things because she's dealt with her illness.
position. But anyway, I spent all day there yesterday talking to doctors with my brothers, and stuff like that, just going through the motions. They had her stable, whatever that means at this point. She was medically alive with everything in the book. But I'm grateful.
And Queen Lady, you know what? I said at the beginning of this, everybody will have their own opinion of this. I'm speaking from all sides of the situation, and then I'll make, whatever I feel. I'm just gonna let you guys know. You don't have to have that, and that's okay. And it's not gonna change the way we feel about you here in the mob. It's not gonna change anything because you probably have even watched her more than I have, and I said that at the beginning of the live. So with that being considered, I respect how you feel. I mean, and that's all I have to say. I'm not gonna sit up here, oh well, blah blah blah. Nothing, nothing to say here. I respect your decision and your statement.
Grateful because I was able to come and say, hey, mom, I love you, you know, whatever. My brother that we couldn't get in contact with for a few hours, I guess he
I
was
definitely
doing some
try to
things
be
and shit,
cancer.
whatever. And we finally got in contact with him. He was already there when I got there. So, that worked out. Um, Finally in the evening, I was like, okay, I gotta go home now because, by the way, my husband was there with me too. So I was like, he met me from work at the hospital. So we were all there, and then I was like, okay, well, I gotta go feed the kids and stuff. It seems
I
like,
didn't know nothing about
nothing's really
cussing
gonna
out her
change
mom,
between
child.
now and tomorrow.
Is that what
So
she
I'll come
said?
back tomorrow, either before the boys' party, because the boys have a birthday party today, this evening. And I was like, I'll either come before or I'll come after, depending on what's going on.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. That's a tough one right there because I understand having a mother having mother expectations of you, and then on the other side you are a parent as well, and you know uh sometimes the expectations on the mother side can be that because I'm your mother, everything stops, even parenting stops. um and for me, nothing supersedes my parenting. My kids are not are first, you know what I'm saying? So that's a tough situation because, like we had just said earlier, she hasn't told her kids, so they're expecting life to be what it is. For me, I think my children would have known what that mom that grandmother was sick, right? That don't mean their life had to stop. That party may have had to go on without me. I may have had to ask my significant other to go do that while I hold it down here for mom. But that would have been a tough call for me because I don't know if I would have left the hospital. I'm just being honest. That would be a time that I need to give my mom more than I can give my kids. Because I can reschedule the birthday party. God forbid if I'm gone and something happened, just as this did happen. Yeah, couldn't have. No, yeah.
And he said, okay, I think you'll be good. He's like, I'm gonna be up
Hey,
here. I'm gonna
Mimi.
stay up here. Me and him and my other brother were gonna coordinate, like, switch off, tag team. But so somebody's there with her the whole time. I said, okay, fine. I go home, y'all,
I
and
agree. I'm
we do
definitely not
dinner,
going to attack
feed the
her,
kids. I take a shower. I'm
but
exhausted.
I'm also
I'm
not going
exhausted.
to, because we all make our decisions based on our personal experiences. So someone else could have had a situation that makes them feel different about Chrissy. Maybe a situation happened for them where they lost the ability to even have this choice. So they're going to look at it different. Or they just look at Chrissy, like I said in the beginning of the slide, from her past, and they're not looking at this. When you walking in, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm a crash out when it comes to shit happening. I'm at the point in my life that when I could be in line, if my damn debit card don't work, it don't even have to be the debit card fault. I know I got the money in there. The system might be down. I am stressed the fuck out. Like, oh my God. Because I feel like everybody looking at me, oh my Lord, and that could just be my PTSD. But I get stressed out very easily, so I always try to uh be anal about making sure shit is together. But when you're in the thick of things and something happen, you just gotta go with whatever and you're gonna have to live with whatever. So that's why I ain't gonna judge how people feel in the chat, nor am I gonna judge Chrissy in this moment. I'm not. Not in a I'm gonna but if I would have did something different, I'ma definitely let y'all know. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm not taking up for her. But in that moment, I don't know if that party would have happened. I ain't even gonna front unless, the people at home was able to do whatever. But if I had kids and shit coming in, I would have just said a family emergency, we shutting it down because my mama in the hospital. That's just what I would have did. I'm sorry.
I'm mentally exhausted. I'm physically exhausted. I'm emotionally exhausted. I'm just exhausted. And so I take a shower, I go to bed, and I forget to put my phone on the charger. And if you know me, you know my phone stay charged. I try not to let my phone never goes dead. Like I try.
And that's what I don't understand in this moment. She ain't got two phones. Everybody, especially social media people, usually have more than one phone. And she might not. And maybe I'm being too overzealous. Again, I am a person with PTSD. I got three damn phones. So I'm speaking from my experience. That may not be her experience. And it also may not be a lot of people on here experience. But that was just odd to me.
Try not to let my phone go dead for multiple reasons like this, for reasons of my kids, just whatever. Like I always keep my, and if I don't, if I'm not at home, I keep a power bank on me, my phone plugged in right now. Like I try to keep my phone charged. So I was so tired last night. I went in bed and I put my phone on the bed with me, and I fell asleep and my phone died in the middle of the night.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Miss Cheeks. Wouldn't nobody have to drag me for that if that was my situation? Because they would have, or let me say it like this, they would have to get in line. Because if I had a catastrophic loss like that, because my phone was dead, child, and me in my situation, child, I mess around and had 10 damn phones. I mean, I just couldn't. I could. I had a situation years ago having one phone. Something happened to my phone. My car went out. I'm sitting here with my kids. That feeling, this is a person with PTSD, was too much going on for me. That's how I ended up with two and then three because, oh my God, what if my first phone go out? Well, I got a phone. Oh, but what if that one go out? So in my mind, it's thinking, well, damn, if I got three, at least by the time I get to only having one left, I'm hopefully in a better situation. For a person with PTSD, that's how my thoughts work. Okay. But her, I mean, it is what it is. She's trying to be everything. She's trying to be keep at home normal while navigating something like this. So, I mean, at some point, something was gonna happen.
I wake up, I put my phone at 8:30. I put my phone on the charger. First thing I do is call my brother. My brother calls me and tells me, "Yeah, mom died." Um,
That would have blew my mind. That would have blew my mind. Oh my God. I wouldn't even been able to drive to the hospital. Spouse would have had to, or a cab or somebody. That would have blew my fucking mind.
I'm like, "When?" And he says, hold on. He said at 7:57 this morning, and he said we were trying to call you. Obviously couldn't get you, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. My phone was dead. I was asleep." And I said, I'm throwing my clothes on right now, and I'm coming. I'm on my way. And I get up, I get my clothes on, I hop in the car, I get halfway there, and I
Now, Queen Leader, I definitely agree that that would have been something I would have done different. Once I realized she coded, I would have been there, especially if I could be. And her kids may not be the best. Obviously, she does not make them very public, for because of some of the things that happened in the past, or just because she may not want to be judged by that, whatever the case. But what husband or not, yeah, I would have been there. Once I found that part out, I don't think I would have been able to leave. That's why I said that party probably would have had to be canceled because that baby's still there to have a party. At that moment, when mother needed me more, I would have had to try to be there. Now, let me also say this. I'm the type of person, I wouldn't care what type of relationship me and my mother had, perfect or not, because she has to control and live with what she does, but I have to control and live with what I did. Whatever the case, I was raised well. I did not have a lot of things in my life that a lot of people have. Like the things that I see here, hell, most of the time when I be doing these reactions, I be shocked as hell at the shit that be going on because I didn't have none of that. My mother could come in the house of a person with roaches and get them gone in 24 hours. I mean, yeah, that's just how I was raised. So I don't worry about what other people can do and their actions, or maybe she wasn't a good mom, whatever. I don't that because um that's not my burden to bear. My burden to bear is me being a child. I went through a time with someone who helped raise me. I wasn't even talking to them, but they were a family member that I cared about. And even if I'm not talking to you, I can help when I'm needed. I can help when my needs should be there, and I was still there for them. So you don't get to put me in a situation that I'm a bad child or a bad cousin or a bad niece or a bad whatever just because of who you were. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do regardless. Me personally, that would not have been how I handled that, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I told him, I said, I'm 30 minutes away. Is she still in the room? And he says, no. They moved her already. Hold on, y'all.
And I apologize for that, Cherie. I understand if you need to take a break from this live, um, or if it's something that can help with your healing. I do understand either way. Uh, oh, that is so crazy. So their situation was bound for mess then.
They say no. They already moved her, and I just sat there on the phone in silence. I'm on the highway going 85 in a 75. And I just was like, bruh, why you let them move her before I got there? I told you I was coming. I just wanted to, I just wanted to see her before they took her. And
Hey,
I know
just
I'm
came.
further away, but everybody on that in that unit
Welcome
knows
or
me.
welcome back, love.
This is my mom's second time in ICU in 2 weeks. They know me. I call up there. I call up there every hour. All of them know me, and they know I.
Ebony Locke says, I live in Colorado. I'm sure I'm not far from Chrissy. I would be happy to fix her and her kids a simple big pot of soup they could eat on until tomorrow morning. That's what someone, bless your heart, that is so kind. Yeah, it is. Okay, and I want to speak on this what she just said too about the she was upset because they moved her mom. Um, this is what I don't understand. I've had the experience of being at the hospital when someone was on life support or taken off or whatever, all of the things, right? Um, After a situation like this, they are fully educated on her medical situation, and God forbid she transitions. What I don't understand is what they took her, because at this point, uh, the doctor has to sign off on the fact of what happened. He already knows because she's been in the hospital and all of this. So at that point, the only thing that should have happened is that um, there's no coroner needed because she was in the hospital. There's a doctor uh, currently treating her who will sign off of the TOD. So with that being the case, the only thing that should have happened is they decide where they're going to send her to be funeralized, and then they come get her. Um, when it's a situation like that, like this, is usually not a an autopsy needed. So I don't understand where she went. They should have left her there or put her in a cooling area so that it would be good to preserve her as best as possible while the family makes a decision. That's the most, because usually what should have happened in the room, and now what she said is that the situation happened about 7:30 in the morning, right? So at that time, um, after what happened, they prepare the person, right? They clean her up, they make sure whatever, they take everything off of her, but that's after they give the family some time. That's when they prepare them, and they prepare them to be moved to the next stage of that process. So I don't understand what this part was. Like, where did she go? Where did they take her? She said she did mention the word morgue, but usually that's where you go when you're waiting for an autopsy. Is this a state that automatically does them on everyone? Like, that's the part I don't understand.
Have kids, and they know that I'm far. And I tell them, you know, I just feel like, I don't know. I know there's some things you can't control, but I just was like, bro, why did you let them move her? So he's like, well, I don't know. You know, they were rushing and, you know, whatever. And so he's just like, you know,
Now, mind you, she didn't even get the call to 8:30, if I remember correctly. So she gets on the road probably the next 20 minutes headed down there. But if she said she was 30 minutes out, so that's around 9:30, 10ish. They didn't rush. She was in there from what they said 7:30 until maybe 9:30, almost 10. So they gave them some time. The sad part about it was she didn't get the time because she wasn't privy to what was going on. That's the time and all of this is a little mixed up.
you know, whatever. So he's like, well, I have this number. You can call. I called a
Hey,
number. It's the
Mira.
nurse's station. I already got that fucking number. I didn't realize it at the time, because then I start freaking out because, you
Exactly.
know,
This is a lot
just handle the
for
shit with some
anybody.
care, my nigga. You know, like, do me how I would do me how you would want yourself to be done, bro. And he just like, oh, it was already done. We were trying to call you, my nigga. We tried to call my other brother for 3.5 hours yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And it don't. It's just. So I called the nurse line, and he was like, yeah, we just moved her about 10 minutes ago. So she's in the morgue. There's
Oh,
nothing
I'm
we can
way
do.
behind. Let me try to catch up a little bit.
And I just broke down. I just been a fucking mess since. And then I called my brother back, and I'm like, bro, they moved her. I can't see her, and I really was
Hey,
trying to
Nearly.
make it there, you know, so I could see her. I know I saw her yesterday. I'm grateful for that, but I also wanted to see her before.
Mira, I hope you heard what I just said. It really wasn't a fast process, especially before she leaves the floor. Whomever does that on that floor, unless there's a secondary location that they take her for preparation, they give you all the time that you need when it comes to the transition process afterwards. I went through that with my granddaughter. Like they gave us time. We were able to hold her and do all the things. And then when we were ready for them to take her, they took her and like that's a little triggering because I don't know, the thought that just came in my head was because it was like there were things, this is my granddaughter, that was, the twins. We had already lost her sister about 4 or 5 days earlier. And it was just like, even with her, now when the first twin came, although she was very early in her gestational period, um, she she lived for a while. So with that, I sung to her, things like that, because number one, I wouldn't get the opportunity to do it any other time, but I didn't know if she was scared. I didn't know how she feels. So I say all of that to say this period wasn't a fast period. It happened over time. Chrissy just lost the time, which is, I guess, what she's saying she's angry about. She didn't have the opportunity because her phone was dead and they couldn't reach her. Now, what I don't understand in this moment is, honey, you got 9 kids. Ain't nobody had nobody number. They couldn't call Cash's dad, and he could have rolled over there. Like that's the thing that I'm not understanding. Like they should have had the husband's number. They should have had at least one of the top two or three. But see, at the same time, she's keeping this from the children. So I mean, it's almost like she made it kind of difficult for herself. She can't share and she can't be overly available because everything is being held within her. They didn't call. Now, apparently the husband know, but they must not have had his number because as a doctor, they should have been able to pick up his phone or his secretary or his um service. Man, they would have had so many damn numbers. It would have been no way. Damn it, call the police to my house. Whatever you got to do. I don't understand that part. But I mean, it is what it is.
They move her. I was trying to make it, and another thing that I forgot that I wanted to mention to you guys that I thought was
That's
like kind of
another thing,
quirky is my
Dollar Tree.
mom and
That's another thing, Dollar Tree. That I didn't understand that either. Wherever they took her, they would have made her available for her to see her. So that I don't understand either. Uh, but
I want to remember it before I get into how I just got upset with my brothers. But
got it.
yesterday morning, that's what's crazy. It went from I spoke to her on the phone yesterday to the doctor calling me talking about a breathing tube to her coding and her heart stopping to them bringing her back and putting.
No, cancer. It really isn't because everybody's going through the same thing. The brother was going through it, she's going through it, and uh, the other brother. So everybody's just doing the best they can, not only to be in the moment, but also to. I mean, they can't really support the other one's situation because they dealing with the same thing.
Put
So
her on
it
a
was
vent.
nobody
From her
else.
being on a vent for 12 hours and then her dying this morning. I just, what
Yeah,
the fuck? What the fuck has been the last 24 hours? I don't even know. I don't even know what's going
that's
on.
true too, Dollar Tree.
You know? The fuck? I don't know what's going on.
Ladies over 180 pounds. Start your
Exactly.
7-minute indoor walking routine.
So, um, yesterday morning, before I talked to the nurse, that's what I forgot to say. Before I talked to the nurse, my mom called me again. She just called me yesterday. And she said, I said, Mom, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm about to call and the nurses. I'm taking care of the kids, getting them ready for school, but I'm gonna be up there. But I'm gonna call the nurse right now. What's going on? She called me during a shift change, which is kind of difficult to get a hold of nurses and doctors and stuff during that time. But she was like, I'm not doing good. I don't feel well. My stomach hurts so bad. I'm hungry. I said, okay, let me call my brother. And I said, hold on. So I called my brother, and he's like, okay, Mom, what do you want to eat? I'm gonna bring you some, right? We don't even know if she can eat right now, but we just like, we gonna try to do something. I said, can you bring her some food? Can you bring her some broth? Can you do something? Because she's hungry. And so she he's like, Mom, what do you want? What do you want to eat? She said, I want some soup with not a lot
Y'all
of
hear
stuff
me
in it,
now?
and I want a pear on the side.
Can y'all hear me now? Let me know that you guys can hear me before I continue the video. I saw that Mira said there was no sound. Can y'all hear me?
Hey guys, please stop by our site and purchase some of our merchandise today. This is not only a way to spread the word about us, but it is a great way to support the channel. Justmecmb.cc. Hey guys, after this great commentary, be sure you run over to our website, www.
And I just thought it was interesting. She said a pear of all things. But she's like, yeah, I want a pear on the side of that, but I want some soup, but not a lot of stuff in it because, like, my mom don't like a lot of, ingredients in her soup, so mostly broth. He's like, okay, all right, I'm about to get dressed and I'm gonna meet. I'm gonna bring it up there, and then that's after that everything went crazy. But here's where I'm upset. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. I'll read the comments in a minute. That's the last time we talked. That's the last time I spoke to my mother. So at least that'll be
Hey,
a memory that
Rose.
I have that I can laugh about at some point. But so I call my brother back, fast forward, and I say, bro, at this point I'm heartbroken. Even more so. I'm like, I knew, I think at first they thought I was upset because she died. And I'm like, I am. I am
Hey,
upset because she
Karen.
died. I'm more upset because y'all niggas didn't put your foot down and say, my sister is coming. Please wait an hour. I think they could have done that. I think they could have done that. I know they probably trying to clear her out of the way and not whatever. I know, I get it. They don't give a fuck. This is their job. But you are my brothers. I expect you to put your foot down for me, advocate for me. Also,
I'm
here's
not
another
sure,
issue.
Lisa.
They said, like, once I got home, like once I left, that she was, having issues as I left. After I left, call me. They got a fucking problem picking up the phone and calling me. I told them, I said, I don't give a fuck if I would have just got home. I would have put my motherfucking shoes on and got the fuck back in the car and got the fuck back down there and I would have spent the night.
With Asana, AI teammates are here to help level up your goals. Try it for free.
You don't take that away from me by not calling me, but not giving me the option of being there if I want to be
To me, this feels like the bargaining part of losing someone. She's trying to hold on to anything that kept her on this side, which for her, that was her in that bed. Because when you really think about it, um, mama is mama. It doesn't matter what bed she was in or what room she was in. So if you had to see her over here versus over there, really, that the focus is seeing her, right? But not if you're trying to keep her here. Not if you're trying to keep her or keep things the same as long as you can. You're trying to hold on. Oh my gosh, she's gone. All the things. That is what it is. So this is bigger than the brother. She is taking her frustrations out on her brother. And that happens during these types of situations. But the fact of the matter is, her real issue is keeping the sense of normalness as long as she could because that keeps mom here.
there. You know, let me make the call on, oh, well, I think I could wait till tomorrow. Don't make that fucking call for me. I don't like motherfuckers who do that. I never did. I never will.
But Lisa, for me, that's where Uber teen account comes in. You send a Uber for the daughter and you do what you got to do. Cadence is there. Kinsley is there. Okay, Cadence was gone, let's just say. Kinsley is there. And what's his name? The older boy. So she got enough babies that's on the older age side that they would have had to make it work, even if she would have had to go to care.com and get her a temporary. Like that's where funding comes into play in a situation like this.
That's another problem. Strike two. Strike three was letting them move her out of the room before I got there.
That could be
And then
a
when I
part of
pressed
it
the
too,
issue, I'm
though,
like,
Dre.
why did you let them do that? Oh, I don't know. Everything had already happened. And I was, we
Because he was going through the same thing as you. He's worrying about his feelings. He don't have time to protect you in this moment. He's trying to protect his own heart because he did the same thing that you did as far as having a mother that is transition. That's why he did what he did.
we were trying to tell them to continue to work on
And
her.
really, he didn't do it because look at what she said. We was trying to tell them to continue to work. We was trying to tell them to give us back our mama.
Until you got there, until we got in contact with you. You act like to me, it's just nothing is acceptable.
Yeah.
They left her 3 hours away. See, maybe it's different policies in different hospitals, but what I'm saying is this: they could have left her there for an hour. I was 30 minutes away, and then when I called, they said they had just removed her 10 minutes ago. How dare you? That means you could have waited 40 minutes and I would have been there. 30
Yeah.
minutes, 40 minutes, I'd have been there. And all I need is 5 minutes just to, kiss her, tell her I love her, and say goodbye,
So what she's saying is I needed her to still be here so that I could do whatever. Unfortunately, because they couldn't reach you, she lost that. So it's not like they didn't call. Even the hospital probably called because they didn't see you. It's just that you weren't reachable. And it's nothing that anybody could do about that. And it wasn't her brother's fault. It's unfortunate that they're getting this, but the other brother's gonna have his words for her as well. Like this ain't a pretty situation. It is what it is. So they all gonna have to deal with it. But they are all going through it too.
Anyway, so I call him back. And my other brother answers the phone. And he's like, oh, well, he's talking to somebody, so I answer the phone for him. And he starts talking shit. Bitch, who the fuck you talking to? And he's just like, oh, well, you knew your mother was on life support. And then he said, you knew she was on life support and you left and you missed it. And that's nobody's fault but your own. And hung up in my motherfucking face. I'm the baby, bitch. You're 50.
I agree. I was listening to this earlier today on the planet, and she said you're the youngest, or somebody said that you're the youngest, not the baby. That's true. And but some people, although she's a mom of many, she's got an older and a younger. In her mind, she's always gonna be her mama's baby, and that's probably her mom's point of view as well. That's always gonna be my baby.
And my mother just died too. Not just yours. You selfish motherfucker. And you gonna pick up the phone and my distraught because my mother was moved and taken to the morgue where I can't see her now probably
Right,
till
Cancer.
she's in a funeral home or embalmed or some shit.
And also, it is a big difference when you are going through something like this and you've never experienced it and don't know what to expect versus a situation to where you're going through something like this and you've dealt with it before. It's a big difference, and it's clear that they are not clear on anything. And it just is what it is.
Um, and your response to me is not to handle me with care, is to tell me you knew your mother was on life support. Everybody knew that she could have died.
Oh yeah, I
You
know,
left and you
Cherie.
missed it. That's nobody's fault.
Yeah, I get that, but what I was saying is, her mother was in the hospital. The coroner doesn't come to the hospital; they don't have to. because there's a doctor there. So they'll just go to the uh, pathology or the person that's at the hospital. Oh, I forgot what they call it, but sometimes they have them in the hospital. Sometimes they have to go somewhere third party. But in a situation like this, there's usually no need for after treatment, Imma call it. From there, when because they know what happened, they know why she left, the doctor signs off on the cause and reason for the demise, and then you go to the to the funeral home. You don't go to the morgue usually in this situation. So there is no none of the after parts are involved in your situation. That's what I was saying. So at the point that she got there, even if she got there at 10 a.m., she would have still been able to see her. Nothing would have been able to happen that quick. And today is a Saturday. So they're just going to keep her for whatever the next step is, which should be the funeral home.
Fault, but your own.
A new coach, and a game to get to, and rear cross.
Oops. Strike three, bitch. So he immediately gets cussed out. I'm driving. I pull over. I say, you know what? We can handle this right now.
I wouldn't
I
have been
love
studying
you,
his tail.
but you will respect me. That is disrespectful. I don't love nobody that much. So then, I call my other brother and I call the phone number back. My phone, the main phone, the brother I was trying to talk to in the first place. I never asked to talk to that brother. He just picked up the fucking phone. Nobody asked to talk to you. If you don't have the wherewithal to have a conversation with me, then get the fuck off the phone. You know, don't be picking up other people's phones. So my other brother picks up the phone again. I said, do you know what he just said to me? And he was like, no, what'd he say? So I repeated it. And he was like, oh, no, I don't think he meant that. I said, I'm not a child. We're all grown. That nigga meant what he said. And I know it's a high stress situation for everybody. I know everybody's upset. I know everybody's hurt. But bitch, have you lost your motherfucking mind? And he's like, oh, you know, and he just starts talking, and he's just like, I'm gonna work on getting her put somewhere else, and you can see her as much as you want. And it's not the same. It's not the same. And you know that. I said, and what he said to me, he's like, well, I'm sorry that he said that to you. The apology should not come from you. It should come from him, because he should have said that shit in the first place. But that's okay. That's okay. And he's like, well, when people die, you know, it pulls families apart and people start fighting. He's like, we need to stick together. I understand that. I'm not trying to be absolutely ridiculous. What did you think I was coming to the hospital for? To sit in the lobby? If you knew that they moved her, why did you not tell me that before I left?
That's true, Shonda. If you haven't experienced any of this, you're not gonna know. And whether it happened at the doctor's office versus home versus the hospital, it is so different. The situations are different. What happens is different. It can even be different based on what state. So that's why I mentioned that. I do know that a coroner is involved. Also, another thing that changes the what happens is it hospice or not? Because a lot of times, if it's hospice, the coroner won't even come to the house because they already knew what was going on. Paperwork has already been done. Doctors already put them on hospice. So that is kind of like the step in for the coroner. It's yeah, yeah, they do.
The house. Why did you You know, when I said I was on my way, why didn't you explain to me what it was then? I'm not coming to the hospital to see you motherfuckers. I saw y'all yesterday. I was coming to see my mother. Love y'all, but I'm not coming to talk to y'all. I want to see my mom. It can permanently divide families, and I understand why. The funeral home my mom was at allowed us to see her. Call the funeral home. I know it's not the same, but maybe you can get some closure just seeing her. Yeah. Number one choice was very hard. 2 months ago, my granny died. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss too.
She's hurt because of the finality of what it means to go to
They
the
had my
funeral home
mom
versus the hospital. Let's
out
keep it
until
real.
we got to the hospital.
Yeah,
How is it right
it's
when
a definite, it's a difference for her.
Is he right when she has kids at home? He was wrong, point blank. She had to go home and get them settled. Her brothers was there. He
Yeah,
absolutely couldn't have left her
exactly.
mom in the room. Yeah, you
And
know,
it's
if
totally
I'm wrong,
different.
I'm wrong. Everybody on the internet is gonna have an opinion, but I just had to get this out because I was so angry that I can't make the hour drive back if I don't release this shit. It's not healthy. You know, I'll get over it, I guess. I will never forget what they did, but I will get over it. And it'll allow me to be able to, you know, come together in whatever fashion that needs to be. But I just won't fuck with y'all. You know, the way people treat me will determine if I fuck with y'all. I'ma love you. I'm not required to fuck with you.
And the sad part about that is the fact that she had one brother that made her mad, but now she's saying she's not gonna mess with the other. Well, he just doing everything he could. So why are you mad at him? Because your other brother felt how he felt and said what he felt.
I feel like my eyes are swollen from crying, but
But at the same
you know, I'm not
time,
required to fuck with nobody. I'm not
they all
required
going through the same
to
thing. She
whatever.
may
I
not even
love
feel like
both
this in
of
a
them.
little while.
I say that every time. Every time I get on here and I got some shit to talk, they're my brothers. We gonna fall out. We gonna make up. We gonna do. That's how siblings are. My kids fight and they fall out. They hate each other one day. They love each other the next day. That's siblings. That is how it works. But at the same time, we are adults. You know what I'm saying? You should never be that motherfucking whatever to be like, you know. And I told him, I said, listen, I want you to understand, I'm not mad at you because mom died. I knew she was gonna die. I didn't want to believe it, but when I seen her yesterday, when I talked to her a couple of days ago, yesterday and a couple of days ago, we sat on the phone for 35 minutes. I knew then that was probably one of the last times I was gonna talk to her. I recorded it. Something said record this conversation. I don't even know if I got it. I haven't even checked it. I forgot how to fucking record phone conversations on the phone. But some said record this conversation because you may never have another conversation like this again.
This situation has some very strong opinions, and
I
Cherie,
knew
what I am
it
gonna
was gonna
say
happen.
is I get,
I didn't want to believe it,
you
but I
connect
felt
with
like I
her
knew it was
on
gonna
what
happen. I knew
she
it
is
yesterday.
experiencing now, but there's a lot
Especially when
before
they
this.
called me
So
and said,
just in all
unfortunately, your mom's heart
fairness,
stopped. I thought that was the
understand
end.
that, before getting to that
So I'm grateful they were able to bring
complete
her back
decision.
enough for her to hear us, specifically me.
Yeah.
They hear, that I
And
love
this
her
didn't just
and that,
start
I was there for
today.
her,
Their relationship
that she wasn't
I'm talking
alone.
about.
But yeah, that just pissed me off. Let me cool off for a couple of days, for whatever. Overall, I mean, fuck the little shit on the grand scheme of things. My mom is gone, and I'm just happy she gets to rest because I know she was in a lot of pain. I know she was tired. But I know she didn't want to die. Mentally, if her body was healthy, her mental would have held on, you know. She was still very strong mentally, but her body just was tired. And so I'm happy she gets to rest now. I'm sad. I'm gonna put all my kids in therapy because I know how I felt when my grandma and my grandpa passed away when I was like what, 11, 12. I just didn't take it well. Like, I handled it well, but I had a whole bunch of like fear and anxiety after that.
Now, this is something I want to talk to y'all about. I don't understand. And all the back and forth. Now, them children just seen their grandmother a couple of months ago living in their house. But she's saying she went back and forth over this 3 days at least twice. And she didn't take one single kid to say goodbye to their grandparent. That I don't understand that. Is that what people do now? Because the last time they saw their grandmother, she was here. Then she walks out the door and now she's just gone. Or maybe the next time they'll see her is at her services. To me, that would be more jarring than allowing them the grieving process. Am I wrong about that? I don't understand this whole dynamic. So I'm just trying to understand that. They don't get a goodbye. Now, Cadence, I guess, is the one she told what happened. But even with that, she didn't get to be there. She didn't get to talk to her. They didn't get to see her on the phone. They didn't get to say goodbye from what's being discussed here. So, I mean, that's just very interesting, in my opinion. Am I wrong?
It never got resolved, you know. And that's when my anxiety and my panic attack started after my grandma died. So I'm gonna put them all in therapy to make sure they get the support they need. They don't know. I did not say anything because, again, today is Junebug and Blaze's party, and it was her birthday, you know, and I just don't want this. I don't want them to be. I don't want her death to be attached to their birthday forever, even though, you know, it's around the same time. And they're so small. I don't want to hurt them when they should be happy, celebrating, because they're gonna have to hurt at some point anyway, because I'm gonna have to tell them. As far as Cadence, Kingston, and Kaya, they're the oldest, and I sat them down the other day, 3 days ago, when I first found out all this shit was going on, and I told them that what was happening. I told them that she was in the hospital. This is before the ventilator. This is before all this stuff. And I told them, I said, you know, I want to let you guys know what's happening because you guys are the oldest. I want you to help. You know, if you see one of the kids needs extra help or something, be patient with them, help them, you know, whatever. Make sure to do your part because, you know, mom's going through a lot and grandma's in the hospital right now. And I also said, you know, I don't know what's going to happen this time because she's really, really sick.
And you know, another thing that makes me think about that is the fact of, so they see grandmother, yes, she's sicker than normal, she's whatever, that she's in the home, whatever's going on is going on, right? Then fast forward, they never get to see her in a stage of realness during this emergent situation, and then she's gone. let's say that she decides, like she just said, she wants her kids to stay happy, so she don't even tell them until maybe down the line sometime that she's no longer with us. That is the worst, in my opinion, that you can do to them, because they don't get a true understanding of the process, and then they end up even in the situation that she's in. Like she said, her grandmother and grandfather's situation caused her anxiety. Will these kids go through the same thing? Because they don't have an understanding. So it makes them fearful. And then there comes the anxiety. That's probably what you went through. So you're doing what you know of because that may be what was done to you. But uh but then the kids aren't here.
Um, I'm gonna give you guys the option of knowing right away, or you can wait for, like, if anything happens and she ends up passing, I will tell you guys if you want to know. If you don't want to know until I tell the younger kids, then I will wait until I tell the younger kids. And Kaden said, I want to know. Kingston said, I want to know. Kai said, I don't want to know until absolutely necessary. I said, okay. So, Kingston texted me yesterday. He's like, what's going on? Is she okay? What's happening? I gave him the update when I was at the hospital. And then, what was I going to say? And then this morning, I put on a brave face. The kids were already up, and I said, okay. My hubby stayed at home this time, so he can help, do whatever he needs to do with the kids. We don't have to worry about calling a sitter, none of that. Just stay there, and I'll be back. That's what I told him. So, Cadence catches me at the door, and she's like, where are you going? I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital for grandma. And she was like, oh, is everything okay? Is it the same thing that happened yesterday, or is it something else that happened?
And see, the kid does not know because they're not given a realization of what's going on, and they're not given. Well, Chrissy apparently didn't have a very understanding realization as far as to how dire it was because it happened so fast. So it was hard for her to even give them a true uh whatever. But again, she went through what she went through with her grandparents, and then boom, it's her mom, and she probably don't know how to help deal with it. And then now she's got to be an adult for 9 other people and deal with something that she has no experience in. This is why things look so bad. Another thing, some people here in the live feel that they had a bad relationship, her and her mom. Some say it's not so much. Some of the people who feel they had a bad relationship probably feel that way because that's not the relationship they have with their mother. Now, in my opinion, it don't matter what kind of relationship you have. When you have a terminally ill parent, you are there because that's what you do if you want to. Um, so really what happened to her is not really the ultimate thing to discuss. The ultimate thing to discuss is um, how do I do this? That's the to me that's the real issue.
I said, okay, come here. So I bring her in my room, and I tell her what happened. And she's like, oh, is she really gone? I said, yeah, she's really gone. And she said, are you okay? And I said, no, but, I could use a hug. And she hugged me. She said, I love you. I said, I love you too. She said, you gonna be okay? I said, yeah, we gonna be okay. We gonna be okay. I said, are you okay? She said, I'm gonna be okay. I said, okay. I said, just don't say anything to anybody yet.
One thing those kids know is they mama. No matter what, they've always had Chrissy, good, bad, or indifferent, regardless of how people think about her parenting. That's what they've had, and that's what it is. Um, so that's why her first thought was mom. Grandmother has come and went, but mom has been the constant for them. And some people think, that she was a horrible mom. Some people not so much. We all have different life and experiences. So where one person can say, "Oh my God, everybody was horrible. Some people can say it was good. It depends on what you've been through. That's why it's important when we do commentary to allow everybody to have their own opinion, because you can't foster the opinions and emotional situations of everybody in this chat. It's just not something that can be done because they don't have your perspective and you don't have their perspective, and we're all individuals. So that's why I told you at the beginning of this, we're all, we always have the understanding of respecting each other on this channel, but we're not going to sit here and tell somebody who may think negatively that they're wrong, because they're not wrong. That's their experience. That's their opinion based on their life and experiences.
Not even Kingston or Kaya, and I'll talk to them when I get home. And she said, okay. So I'm gonna go home and try to rest for a little bit. And their party's not until 5. I'm still gonna, try to vlog it and everything, because that's what I was planning on doing. I ended up vlogging.
Yeah, because
me
that's how
freaking
he's processing what he has dealt with. He has a situation that's completely out of his control. And even though you guys love him and are attentive to him and things of that nature, he has to live in what may be for him fear. We don't know. But whatever the case is, therapy ain't necessarily a bad thing. Also, trying to gain understanding from other people's perspective isn't always a bad thing. That was a learned behavior for me. I had to learn that. We think that because we're the parents of our kids, even sometimes, that what we think is what it is. And oh, I raised you, so I know how this, that, and the third. No, they're an individual. So they process emotions differently. And for what may be no big deal for you could be freaking catastrophically traumatic for them. This here, what Chrissy's going through, it don't matter if her mother hadn't spoke in 10 years. This is still trauma, especially how it's going on. She probably does have a lot of regrets and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily have to be because she treated her mom bad. It could just be because she treated her mother the best she could, but it still didn't give her enough understanding to be able to maturely deal with the emotions. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't watch her religiously, so I can only go by my own personal experiences.
out yesterday and everything, because I was vlogging just vlogging anyway for the boy's birthday and putting that whole thing together. And I don't know how I want to do it because it's kind of mixed in together. I'm gonna have to, I don't want it to be, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. I'm gonna have to separate it, the sad stuff from the happy stuff if I can.
Exactly.
But it's real life. Shit. It's really what I've been going through. So I don't really know what happens next.
Yeah,
but
exactly. At the end of the
pray for my
day,
strength, please.
would you have wanted her hanging on for you just so you could say bye? Would you have wanted her uh in additional pain or whatever? Like, it's so many things to consider. But when you're going through a moment, you can't consider all of that.
Please. My kids. Read some of y'all's comments. I'll take it at a time, yeah. I think so. No, I'm so sorry to realize. Thank you. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you guys for all of your condolences and everything. My cousin, and we just hugged each other. Yeah, that's all.
So I'm going to go ahead and do a pre-record for tonight after this live, guys. We've already been on here for 2 hours. I actually wanted to do some reaction on another video, but we've been here for a while. So we're going to watch a few more minutes of this and then we'll end the live.
It's kind of different sometimes. I feel like when the boys have kids, like my brother's kids, aren't as close to my mom. They're close, but they're not as close.
Because daughters are usually more close to mom. So she was able to help you with your kids, be there. She moved with you. And it's different. That mom has your brother's kids have their own mom, which that relationship is probably with their mother. So it is different. But
To
yeah.
my mom as my kids were, because she's been around my kids since birth, all of them, you know, especially the older ones. She was at the birth of Cadence, at the birth of Key.
You know what? I agree with you. But here's the thing, Miss Cheeks. Whether they learn about it, okay, first of all, she was sick. And the probability, because they have been here before, they probably all thought that they would make it to the other side of this, on this side. So she keep everything. But then, we already heard Chrissy say this whole process for her was 2 days shorter than it was for the brothers because they were there. Now, here's another thing we have to consider. When that whole scenario happened with Chrissy, and when the mother was staying with her for whatever period of time, and she was complaining about the bill and all the things and how she couldn't, um, when it came to taking care of her children versus taking care of her mother, her primary responsibility was her kids. I do understand where she was coming from, but I didn't see her saying that I don't love my mom and I don't want to take care of her. I'm just, what she was saying is me having an added responsibility and added mechanisms in my house is causing my bill to go higher, and it is inhibiting the ability that I have as a single parent, which I feel like she is, taking care of these kids. So if that's the case, she does have to be mindful of that. Now, did she have to come and tell everybody? No, because she's going to have some very strong opinions then as well, especially from people who would love to have that opportunity with their own parents and may not. I think that she was meaning it from the perspective of what I just said. Her mother was there when several of her kids was born. She was more helpful because she was closer because her daughter was having kids. Now, whatever happened with those other kids, they had the relationship of maybe they were not in marriages, maybe they were in relationships, so she's not going to be able to be around as much. The fact of the matter is, we really don't know what the truth is there because that's not a part of the story that we were able to uh, be a part of. Whatever the case is, this story is this story. She's mad. Um, just like with the light bill situation, she was angry because the brothers weren't materially invested. She expected them to help with her there. Um, and a lot of the spectators, people that have watched the reactions, and people in her audience probably feel your mom has done so much for you. Why are you asking people outside your home to help? Like, you just got to make it work. And for the most part, that's what daughters usually have to do, especially if they're in this position. Now, this whole scenario might have been different if her mother had a husband, but it's fair to say her traveling with Chrissy could have caused her not to have one. Like, she could have gave up a relationship. Why? Because that was her daughter, and she chose her daughter over a guy. I mean, it's so many things in this that we don't know, that how can you just make an ultimate decision on what you do know? That's my whole position, and that's where I'm going to leave this, because a lot of people who have critical feelings about this may have more information than I do, or they may weigh the information different than I weigh what I know. All I know is this girl done lost her mama, and to me, that's where the focus is. Even if she was a bad daughter, her mama's still gone. Even if she was the perfect daughter, her mama's still gone. You see what I'm saying? So, me, I'm just, I guess my outcome or outlook from this video is I'm just focusing on the current focus. But there are so many things here that she can do wrong or right to change the situation that it's almost not funny. Um, how she tell her kids may be an issue. Uh, mean, so many things may be an issue. So that's where what y'all have to look at, I guess, at the end of the day. That's where things are gonna make a change because it's just based on the decisions she makes from here. So that's what I have to say. And quite frankly,
Thanks
I
to
feel like
she took the kids to the zoo when I was in the hospital having Kaya, but she was there every single time she was there, you know? So it's just like, I just feel like, and the twins are so sensitive. And
so now what she's really doing, she's reminiscing on her mother, but she's also reminiscing on the relationship or the emotions of her kids, and she's going through the fear of what she's about to face because she still got to tell them at some point. So I ain't gonna say whether I feel good or bad, but all I can say is, baby, my heart goes out to her because no matter what, baby, she got a tough road ahead, y'all. Mm-mm-mm. Tough road ahead. Yep, she does. Well, any closing thoughts, guys? If you guys have not hit the like button yet, please do so.
I think I know. I touch that fire for you. I do that three, but I think I know.
close to her. And I've been trying not to worry them because I'm really worried about them. I'm worried about all of them.
See, I told y'all.
I'm
She
really worried about
has
them because
so much on her shoulders. And we sit here and a lot of time we talk about the drama of the other moms, but she's four up from them. She's got 9 lives to change. And she's got to be the strong one and deal with that. To me, she is more involved with her kids. Like she does spend her days parenting more than the other moms that we look at and talk about. And all I can say is, poor thing. Good Lord. Whew, I couldn't imagine. Baby, 2 kids had me wore out. But I tried to give them everything. Thank you, Shonda, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Um, but this is a tough road ahead, no matter what you feel about Chrissy, no matter what you feel about the decisions she's made in the past. I mean, honestly, this right here was a life altering event. So the past almost don't matter. Her slate completely becomes clear now because where do you go from here? No matter what her relationship was with her mom, it don't matter. Her mother is at peace now. I mean, and she still got has to deal with what of that she has because the situation that her mom was going through, her mama wanted to live desperately, and she's gonna focus on that. She's gonna focus on so many things here that the brothers really ain't gonna be a big part of the conversation. That's just a means to an end for her emotions right now. But shoot, there's so much that's gonna happen. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for hanging in here with me. We've been 2 hours strong. I think tonight's video may actually end up being a pre-record of my jazzy life talking about the struggles of co-parenting. So look out for that tonight around 10:30 ish Central. Hey, Tangela, I think I'm just seeing you. Um, Also, for those who most of you I probably won't talk to before tomorrow. Hey, nearly. Um, Happy Easter, everybody. Tomorrow's Easter. I hope you guys have some amazing plans. My plan is to go to church with my family. Since I've been home, I've definitely not been in a social setting, church included, very hell at all. And so I'm going to make the conscious effort to try to take muscle relaxers and do whatever I'm doing to get myself in a position. Because, man, since this accident, I've been in a lot of pain and just been in such a transitional state. I'm going to try to figure it out and make it work. Anyway, guys, that's what I'm going to do. And I just hope y'all have an amazing day. Thank you, Miss Cheeks. I'm having to do the work all over again. I feel like I'm starting from scratch. Like my lives, used to be a decent size, but maybe that's because we were talking more drama and peach. Maybe that's the issue over here. But whatever the case is, I really don't care. I love those of you who are here. I love those of you who frequent the other things that we talk about. And we're just going to keep on doing this thing till the wheels fall off. Okay. Now, guys, I don't know if you have seen some of the new things that we got. I'm gonna put it up right before we head on up out of here, just so y'all can check them out, and we'll talk more about things like that later. Shonda says this is way bigger than anything Chrissy has ever done. Her life will never be the same. Exactly. And mama is always mama is always mama. Even with that relationship, people aren't taught how to love. Sometimes you don't know how to love. So, whatever it is, maybe she felt that she did the best that she did, or maybe she'll realize now that she didn't. I don't know. But obviously, all I can do is point out things. I definitely am not judging her, nor am I advocating for her. But what I know for sure is her life will never be the same from this point, and that's what she's going to have to spend the rest of her days with that narrative, on that narrative, and trying to get through that. But these are two of the new items that we've added, guys. I have at the top a white shot glass. Woo-hoo. And at the bottom, we were talking about a flask, and I got y'all one. The Mish MObb Sit Your Fuck Away Room flask, so that no matter where you are, honey, you have your spirits in your flask, and pull it out and turn it up when we go live. Hell, you can even do you a big one, have the flask and your little shot glass, and pour your spirits while you out on vacation in your shot glass, and turn that bad boy up when we talking about some shit that's crazy as fuck. Anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think. We'll have a live look at them very soon here on the channel. They're already available on the site. I've showed you guys the t-shirts, and baby, when I tell y'all I love my cup, I don't know if y'all have seen that, but we have that as well. So I've definitely had things made available for you all that not only you can enjoy while listening to the commentary, but you can also purchase it as a way to support the channel and allow us to continue to do the commentary that we love to do. So they are available. Check them out whenever you want to. If you have questions about them, you can definitely ask. I was trying to find a picture of the other thing, but we'll get on that later. Anyway, guys, again, our Mish MObb member for this episode is Passion Lisa. Hey, Ronnie. You came in just as we were leaving, love, but hey, I haven't seen you in a while, so I hope you've been well. Please hit that replay. Everybody, if you have not had the chance to hit the like, please do so. You know how that important that is to us. Thank you, Passion Lisa, for being an amazing support to the channel, as you all are. And I will see you all on the next one.
She get it from her mama. I'ma say you fuck her right. Body rude is unpolite. Tell me in a humble life. Tell me is you down? Cause I'm trying to go up tonight. Holding hoochies left and right. I just wanna live in fantasy. I think we deserve it right. Top of the memories I've ever made in my life. Permanent ecstasy. The ladies is pimps tonight. I put that on my own. Get it from her mama. I'ma say